Another day of Spurs being Spurs. Honestly, I don't know what the hell is going on at that football club. I don't know what they have planned for the future. I don't know what they're doing currently because they just got rid of Big Ange. They got rid of Ange Postecoglou after winning the first European Cup in God knows how long. I think it was like 80 years. For them to go to the Europa League Final and beat Manchester United. The Manchester United, which is pretty much the weakest Manchester United team we've seen in the longest time. I mean, to have both of these teams literally getting away from relegation, essentially being 16th and 17th, whatever the hell they were, and for both teams to have the torrid seasons that they both have had, and for Tottenham to get out on top and to create history, especially with those players, you have to give Ange credit for that. Now look, I'm an Arsenal fan. I hate Spurs. I hate everything they stand for. I hate their club. I hate their kit. I hate all the players that ever played for them. I hate the fact that they have a chicken as their mascot. I mean, I hate Tottenham Football Club. And I know with what Ange has done is something that is historic. No other Tottenham manager in the last however many years has able to do what he's done. Not Pochettino, not Mourinho, not Conte, not Nuno Espirito Santo, not God knows how many other managers that have been at this club. But for God's sake, this guy managed to get a European trophy, something that Arsenal Football Club haven't managed to get in God knows how many years, since the 90s pretty much, with the Cup Winners' Cup or whatever the hell you want to do, we want to bring into the argument. That is something that's going to burn in my soul for the rest of my life. Just because those guys managed to get a European trophy before my club makes me sick. And the fact that Tottenham Hotspur sacked the guy. Now look, people can make an argument, right? Maybe people can say, you know what, because of what happened with Claudio Ranieri and Leicester, yes, they won the Premier League back in 2016, but next season they were literally on the verge of relegation, so they had to make a decision. And you know what, maybe Tottenham and Daniel Levy and whoever thought, you know what, maybe this is what's going to happen next season with Postecoglou. But the thing is that they didn't even give him a chance. They didn't even let him go into next season and say, you know what, have a go, do better in the league compared to last year, because a win like that would have heavily motivated that entire club, that squad essentially, because when you win a trophy you get hungrier for more. You see it with so many teams and clubs, but with Tottenham, and I'm not even surprised with the fact that they did this, because they got rid of Jose Mourinho before a cup final. So you have to think to yourself, where the hell does these clubs' ambitions lie, especially with Daniel Levy? That guy literally is horrible for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, after watching that All or Nothing documentary, especially when they had Mourinho and Poch, you can tell it's just a horribly run club, especially when it comes to being a competitive football club. And for them to even win the Europa League, to do something that so many managers, so many big names went to Tottenham and failed, and for him to do that, especially with somebody that came from God knows where, done God knows what, no one expected him to come in and do any sort of success or business or anything like that, because you know, we never really knew much about his background. I mean, there was a video I saw the other day where he was a manager for the Australian national team. Other than that, I didn't know much more about him. And for him to come in and to get bantered this whole season and the whole of last season, and for him to come and say, you know what, I win trophies in my second season, that is one of the top most gangster moments I've ever seen in my entire life, especially from a Premier League manager. And for him to come out and say that and deliver, you gotta give your credit to him. And I can say that he's done more trophy wise compared to my manager, because for God's sake, Arteta hasn't won a European trophy, he hasn't won a major trophy since 2020. And no, I'm not counting the Community Shield. Yeah, I know I'm talking about Arsenal, but that's besides the point. But for me to see what Spurs has done, I'm not surprised. I'm happy that they let him go, because this is just another case of Spurs being Spurs, and maybe there'll be a lot of other players that leave. And I think my suggestion or my theory on why he left was that, look, he went into that boardroom after that Europa League final and he was like, listen, in this transfer window, I want to get my players. And the board basically said, No. And then he was like, all right, bet I'm not going to ruin my career even further. And he left. I think that was exactly the situation, what happened, because I can't think of any other reason why they would let their most successful manager in God knows how long let him walk away. Especially so many people talk about Poch and they talk about that 2017 team with Harry Kane and Son and Dembele and all these guys, but those players weren't able to win a trophy, but these guys did, which is crazy and mad in itself. But yeah, credit to Ange Postecoglou. Thank God you got away from that football club. Now I can look at you with more neutral eyes when they see you in a completely different team, because you deserve to be in another team. And this is the thing with Ange. The thing I gave him credit for in that final was that everyone talked about how he does the high line and attack and this and that. But when it came to crucial matches, he changed his tactics, went defensive, parked the bus, and he got out there with a win. And you got to give him credit for that. As much as it burns my soul as an Arsenal fan, but there's nothing much more you can do from that. And that's the thing, throughout this entire season, and I think maybe even from last season, he had problems in the league where he had to play players out of position, especially Archie Gray. He was a midfielder, but he went into defense, and they had so many injuries where it was difficult to even field certain teams. I mean, even with their goalkeeper situation, they had to bring some random guy from God knows where to play in goal for them. But that is all besides the point. I think he did the best he could. Credit to him. As a neutral, as an Arsenal fan, I'm gonna hate you for the rest of my life because of what you've done. And yeah, hopefully you go to a better club and see where you go from there. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy that Spurs have done this, and also a bit unhappy because maybe in the league they might get a bit of a kick up. But I guess this is just Spurs being Spurs, and Spursying it up. Anyhow, that's the end of this video. Please like and subscribe, and hope to see you all in the next video. Bye bye.